Hi everyone, I'm Ali GREYMOND. Today I'm continuing to answer questions about OCD recovery. These are the questions that you left under my video, Ask a Question About OCD. First question is, Hi Ali, I've asked many times here, but I hope you can answer it this time. Again, guys, if I'm not in, I've seen a few questions saying I haven't answered, and A, I can't find them, and B, there's just a lot of questions, and everybody's trying to get an answer. I'm really doing the best I can in answering. There's over 100 questions now, so if I didn't answer your question, please understand it's nothing personal in any way, shape, or form. It's just that I haven't. I must have missed it. That's literally all that it is. So first question is, Hi Ali, I've asked this many times here, but I hope you can answer this time. Can you talk about the strategy of handling real physical sensations around triggers? These feelings of itching, pinching, touching sensations on your skin confuses your brain to question the validity of the thought. They feel absolutely real due to the mind making logical assumptions about particular feedback on the body and having physical feedback in compliance with the triggered situation or event. As far as I know, they are a product of the mind, but as well as I would like to hear your comment, advice on this, and how often do you see a client with this issue? I see cards against you in a way to basically show you that yeah, you should ruse to get you into a reaction. You know, because the brain, well, it's it's a ruse, but the brain doesn't know it's a ruse, basically, because the brain thinks you taught it that this is dangerous. So it's giving you the full experience of how this would feel. So, for example, if a person is scared, what if I'm going to have a heart attack? You know, they start to have like the heart beats faster, all of these things. That's also a very common type of OCD situation. So they get all of these physical symptoms. Or I feel like if a person will say I feel like I can't breathe, then they will feel like they're running out of air, right? So it's all of these things are very, very common. Sensation, a thought, an urge, an image, it's all the same thing. Then you will start to see them go away. Don't be scared of them. Don't worry about them coming. They're gonna come in and they're gonna feel very real. And so what? And just, if you want to kind of speed up the process of recovery, try on purpose to say, go ahead, send me all the physical sensation you possibly can send me right now. Because that way you're showing your brain that you are not scared, and that would be the fastest way forward. Next question is, are you supposed to prevent a fear response when disregarding? Does disregard mean to say whatever to anything? My whole life, I have been pushing away scary thoughts. Am I supposed to keep them there? I feel more comfortable when I push them away because I'm used to doing that. I'm also confused on what disregarding even is. Does it mean not to answer OCD thought when it comes up? Thank you. Um, Okay, so when I say you should disregard the thought, basically you're disregarding the content of the thought as being irrelevant. So you're saying, yeah, I see that thought. Yeah, it's there. Because it is there, right? You do have it. So you're acknowledging that, yes, I see it, I have it, but the content is irrelevant. So I'm going to go on with my day and not pay attention to this thought. That's going to be there all day, whether I pay attention to it or not. But I will leave it on that side and I will be on this side. So you have a plan of what you're doing in the day. You're going with that plan. Whatever OCD tells you is irrelevant. You're not thinking about it. You're not asking anybody. You're not checking. You're not doing, see that you are uncertain. You feel like you need closure. You can't, you can't, depending on the thought, if you can get it, then it'll just get replaced with a new thought. So there's no point. Until I'm 90. I've had a million of them before, but maybe this one I will not solve. So this game of, cat and mouse basically anymore, right? So kind of aggressively talking back to OCD. Um, when you say that you're pushing them away, the problem with pushing them away, pushing the thoughts away, is you're pushing them away out of fear. So you're saying, I'm so scared, I don't want to touch it, basically. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be away from this thought. Please, please, please go away. That's a position of fear. Your brain sees that it will actually send more thoughts, which keeps you trapped in OCD. So, and you know that because just like you're saying that your whole life you've been doing that, it's not working. Clearly, at some point we have to say, okay, this is not working. We need to try something else. So something else would be just to say, okay, I'm just not gonna push it away. Whatever. I've tried to push it away all my life. It's not working. That's how you have to talk back to OCD, aggressively, sarcastically, not from a position of fear, not from a down by OCD. It's always a lie. Every thought you've had previous to right now has been for OCD, for nothing. You worried for nothing. So how many more times are you going to worry for nothing? And just try to look at it that way, that you can't continue to take the thoughts seriously because they're always the same. They're always a lie. Just, it's just same thing over and over again, but slightly different. And then another question that's very similar is, hi Ali, did you mentioned to disregard OCD voice as noise from from a neighbor, like I say, from a noisy neighbor. But how do you just look at images as the same as they can they OCD an image, so the thought can come in as a thought, or it can come in as an urge. You know, just look at it as it really doesn't matter how it comes in. It's the same. It's OCD. It's trying to get you into a reaction. You need to continue to disregard. Just because it's an image and it's scary, who cares? Right? Just view it. How many scary images did it send you so far? And don't go into this, well, why would I come up with this image? We can all come up with a very, very disturbing, scary images. Every single person on planet Earth. Because of all the stuff we get bombarded with in the news, in the movies, all of this stuff. So anybody can come up with it because you keep reacting to it as important. That's all it is. Next question. This is pretty classic OCD. Part of my overcoming, I am really struggling though with the fear of spreading germs, all types of germs, which may cause some type of harm or disease to my loved ones. The problem is that germs are actually real things. Example, washroom type germs, the floor, other people, in fact, so many places which could be spread to other surfaces that are touched afterwards. That actually makes sense to me. I don't see how I can simply disregard everything to do with the germs theme, because the reality, there are situations where decision needs to be made in regards to hygiene. I have tried to observing what others close to me who don't have OCD would do. However, there are so many different and unexpected germ-related situations that pop up all the time that make it very difficult to know on the spot what to do or not to do in every situation. How do I learn to use my own judgment and get in a better perspective regarding germs without becoming obsessive? I would greatly appreciate your insight into the dilemma. So, what I would say is, you need to approach it like with the germs especially, you need to approach it like a hierarchy. So say for example, in situations related to say eating food outside the house, so eating food in cafeterias and wherever, at a restaurant, how do people around you generally behave? Do they generally wash their hands a lot, a little bit, not at all? Just go with what they're doing. Public washrooms, would a person behave? And then you're following that situation. So not under the microscope, how would in this specific little tiny situation would each, but generally, because sometimes with germs type of OCD, if you've had it for a long time, it's hard to see, well, how would a person without OCD would do it, right? So I would say break it into kind of bigger chunks and go with that. But I think that when you are analyzing how would they do it versus how you would do it, and you're really dissecting it into very small bits, is because you're very scared and you want to make sure that you're not making a mistake. So it's that still living with uncertainty. If you say, well, my friend Bob would probably do this, I'm not sure if he would do this, but I believe he would do this. Most likely he would do this. Okay, I'm going to go with this. But do you know that he would do this 100%? No. And that is what we're talking about, living with uncertainty, and that's okay. So I'm going to choose to mimic what I think Bob would do. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Everybody's going to die. And always keep saying that to yourself. Clearly, everybody's going to die. Because the reality is that nothing is going to happen. All the people around you, they're not even thinking about these things. You're the only one thinking about this because of OCD. So you're not actually in danger. You just feel all the time that you are in danger. So when OCD tells you you're in danger, everyone's going to die if you don't make the right decisions, da, 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 you say, okay, yeah, clearly everyone's going to die. Let's see if they die tomorrow. And then when they don't die tomorrow, you'll be like, okay, well, I've moved in a step further in OCD recovery. Whatever OCD tells you, it's a lie. Don't believe. Yep, gonna contaminate everyone. Everyone's gonna everything around us is extremely dangerous. Nobody else sees that, but because of your negligence, right? So because that's what OCD tells you, so you say, okay, yeah, OCD, clearly into it. That has to be your attitude all the time, and try to mimic more people around. You know what you need to do. You know that you need to start mimicking what other people are doing, but you're afraid of assumption, and be okay not knowing 100%. You have to be okay staying in uncertainty, because uncertainty in these mundane, everyday situations leads to recovery. Next question is, how can you stop yourself when you have a strong urge to do a compulsion to a thought and you can't stop thinking about it? So, okay, this is a very good question. So you have two options. Option number one is you do the compulsion, and then maybe an hour later, maybe probably most likely even sooner, it will be replaced by a new thought and a new urge to do a new compulsion. Or to do the same compulsion again. So you're either suffering because you are continuously doing compulsions and continuously kind of going from one thing to another, or you're suffering in the way that you have the compulsion, you have the intrusive thought, the thought continues, you don't do a compulsion, but the thought still bothers you all day. The level of anxiety generally is going to be the same. The one in one way it's just up and down, like you get, with the other one it's just constant, right? So you're just like, you didn't do the compulsion and all. But when you are refusing to do a compulsion, you're showing your brain that you're coming from a position of power, that you're no longer going to play by OCD's rules. And that's how your brain starts to change. That, oh, okay, you're not buying it, okay, I'll shift to something else. It's literally just bringing it up because you keep reacting to it. So if you say, I'm no longer going to react to it, after a while it will stop sending you this thought entirely. Next question is, how do you deal with depression that is caused by excessive rumination and puro? So look at it this way, that it would be abnormal if you were extremely happy dealing with OCD. Nobody is extremely happy dealing with OCD. Everybody feels depressed. Everybody feels like, why is this happening? When is it gonna stop? That's normal. That's natural for you to feel this way. You need to focus on OCD recovery. When OCD recovery happens, depression will lift by itself. So look at it as a temporary occurrence. Don't allow yourself to stay in bed. Don't allow yourself to be isolated. So try to be around people, doing things, keeping busy, not overwhelmed, but just staying busy, staying, doing things that you like to do, or that, say for example, you enjoy doing before OCD came and ruined everything, right? But you need to show your brain in every way that everything is fine. And that includes looking the part and acting the part, right? So if you look like, you're not ready for the day, you haven't dressed, you haven't, just got ready, and if you're not really doing much, you're just getting by, you're not very active, all of that shows your brain that there's something wrong. So you're kind of highlighting this idea of this red balloon is very scary, because the brain doesn't understand the difference between your thoughts and the fear of red balloon. It just, if you're sending signals that you fear that, then it gives you more of that. But if you are kind of looking that part of, I'm not feeling well, then it's even stronger kind of signal, right? Because you're now not living life as you would live it if you didn't have OCD. So I would say, look at it as temporary, but don't allow yourself with depression, with OCD. Recovery is staying in bed, being out in a normal kind of rhythm of life will help you. What I'm saying, not overwhelming yourself, because then it backfire as well. Let's just be clear about that, right? But not too much. Don't do everything. OCD is they tend to be doers, meaning that they do a lot in the course of a day. They're here, they're there, they're doing things, which is great. They get a lot done, but sometimes it can be overwhelming, and then that can stress you out and cause OCD as well. A lot of people are saying about repeating words. I've had a lot of comments. I think I've talked about it in I believe it was in part one. It's like if you have repeating words, or you have to repeat some words or numbers, or continue to do these compulsions, they will continue to bother you. So just look at it. If it's in your mind and you're just living life parallel to it, so you're going around doing things, and in the back of your mind, your brain is telling you da, 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 all the time, same thing, right? Okay, so let it say it, let it do whatever it wants to do. It is there. It's OCD is there. It is what it is for now. But you are disregarding, which will shift the brain into a different way. Don't react to it. Don't wish for it to go away. Don't get frustrated with it. Just look at it as, if you had a broken arm or leg, okay, you have a cast. Right now you have a cast. It's uncomfortable. There's some limitations with it, but so what? Don't focus your attention on it. Live around it, basically, and live around it as normally as you could possibly could. Next question is, can you please answer, while disregarding a thought or doing some distraction behavior, I feel like I'm avoiding the thought or trying to stop anxiety, which is a wrong way to handle an obsessive thought. Oh, this is a very good question. So when you are saying, I'm disregarding, I'm going on with my day, just like kind of a continuation almost from a previous question, right? So you're saying, I'm going on with my day. The message behind it, like the way you kind of say it to your brain in your head, has to be, I'm going on with my day because I'm sick of OCD stuff. And this, my life right now, my day right now, this is what's important. What you're saying to me for 100 millionth time is not important. That focus your attention because you're so afraid to get a thought, or you're so afraid to get an image or an urge or position of fear. And then if you do it that way, then it is avoidance. So over and over and over again saying the same thing, trying to scare me, so I'm not going to do that anymore. You're not running away from the thought. The thought is there with you, but you're saying, I've had enough, I'm going on with my life, as if you're no longer there. And that's the difference between running away in avoidance versus running away in indifference. And you will feel like you're faking the indifference, but you're still not doing it out of fear. You're acknowledging that the thought will continue to be there. That's the end of today's questions. I will answer more questions, guys. If I haven't replied to your question, please don't take it personally. This, because a lot of people are like, why? Well, was there something wrong with my question that she didn't answer? There's literally over 100 questions, so I will go through them, and I will try to answer more, or reply in text form, or do something to get some sort of a response to you. So, but please don't take it personally, because it really it's just that I can't get to you. So because sometimes people are like, well, I keep asking questions, and over and over, and you're not answering. It's just because there's so many. So it's not it's nothing to do with you specifically. I hope you find my videos helpful. Thank you so much for watching. A good way, actually, well, not actually, but obviously, to get a hold of me if you do want to discuss your situation in depth is through the sessions. I understand that they are costly, but they're compared to regular psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists. They're not. They're a fraction of the cost of some of the what the OCD specialists charge. So, and I really try to keep it that way because I think that it's important. And quite honestly, I think what a lot of people charge per hour is rather ridiculous. But so I'm not doing that. So if you would like me to answer any questions you have, that's another way to go. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The recovery program is on youhaveocd.com. I will see you tomorrow.